What's crack-a-lack and literary geeks? Happy Tuesday. I don't have a script for this video, I don't have a plan for this video, I just felt something very strongly, quickly jotted down some notes and set up my camera and film setup, so we'll see how this video goes and I hope that I make sense. In case you don't know me, hi, my name is Rachel, I'm 25 years old, which means that I have been an adult for 7 years now, and as you probably can see from my shelves, I read a whole lot of young adult fiction. Young adult fiction is books with protagonists aged approximately 13 to 18. It usually deals with themes about growing up, self-identity, friendship, first love, every once in a while, like government rebellion. And if you look close enough, you probably can see some regular adult books on my shelves as well, because I also do enjoy reading that, but you can clearly see that it is very outranked when it comes to YA. I've started reading YA when I was like 11 or 12, and now that I am 25 and have been doing so for more than a decade, which is a weird thing to say, I've gotten the question for years, and that is, why are you reading YA when you're an adult? Now, I'm sure many of you can relate to this as well. For example, all of the WordNerds are adults, and we all either read or write in this genre. There's the perception that with growing up and getting older, you kind of let go of the things that you liked in childhood, which is true for a lot of things, but some things do tend to carry over into adulthood, and it's totally okay to like whatever you like for as long as you like, as long as it doesn't interfere with your own life. And I just really like YA books. I think that it's fast-paced enough that I'm not bored. I like the different themes that it brings up. It's usually an adventure type story, which I love to read. I find this is the genre that has the most imagination, and so you can kind of break the most barriers because you're writing for young people, but you're writing for all genres of young people. Hello, son, please come back. For example, if you go into a regular bookstore, you have general fiction, you have mystery, you have sci-fi, you have fantasy, but young adult is kind of just like the umbrella term, because you can have young adult fantasy, young adult sci-fi, young adult contemporary, and they all fall under that genre because it is for a young person. And because it doesn't have such harsh genre boundaries, I feel people that read the genre need more types of books and are more creative in, let's say, like crossing genres over or redoing old stories, classics, or fairy tales with younger contemporary characters. And yes, the question of why don't you read adult books always comes to me with a very judgmental tone. And I don't like that very much. Some readers, of course, are lovely and open-minded, and we like stories, hence why we're all readers. But some readers, I ask if they like being a reader and they like enjoying stories, or if they enjoy being pretentious. We all know that person that's like, I only read classics from 1940 to 1955, and everything else that you like is trash because that was the golden age of literature. Like, if people think that a whole genre is lesser than something that they themselves enjoy, that really just shows how out of touch they are with the last however many 40 years of publishing? I don't know. And I'd say especially in the last decade to 15 years-ish, YA has really grown as a genre, because it didn't actually exist until maybe like the 70s or 80s, and even then it didn't gain popularity until the late 1990s. I know this because for my gender studies class last semester, I wrote my final paper on the hypervisibility and invisibility of female and queer authors in a young adult space, which, I mean, it was real fun researching that, and I got a good grade on it, so, you know, I know my stuff. And in researching this genre, there has been a huge boom that ultimately began with Twilight in the earliest part of this century. And coupled with the fact that this is a fairly new genre, and its target audience is young people, and more specifically young girls, a lot of people look down on people who read that regardless of what age they are. As a teenager reading some of these young adult books, I could relate more with the main character, but now as an adult reading them, I can relate more with the plot or the world building, or even some of the intricacies that the author writes into these books, or even just kind of feeling that like older mentor. Or you can also relate back to the fact that you wanted whatever is happening in these books to happen to you when you were a teenager. Like, I'm still waiting for my letter from Hogwarts. Still haven't been called by a magical sword with a mystical destiny. I'm waiting. I'm still waiting. So going back to my last point on my research essay where I talked about devaluation in a young adult setting, I mean, the word devaluation is pretty self-explanatory, but it just means the devaluing of something, based on what you find valuable, in this case as a society. So worldwide, most cultures have a masculine bias, where women or feminine type bodies, activities, or jobs are placed as things of lesser value, and any object, being, or identity becomes more and more devalued over time as more women or feminine people interact with it. And young adult novels, be it because they are about young people or predominantly because they're written by women, have this effect happen to them. So it doesn't matter if a YA book gets a lot of press or attention or money, based on the audience that it's for and the person who wrote it, which is usually a female author, it's considered lesser than any other type of literature. Pulling on a video essay about Twilight in particular from one of my favorite video essayists, Lindsey Ellis, is that people kind of hate teenage girls. We hate their dumb music. We think that their clothing trends are stupid. We don't like the fact that they wear too much makeup. We don't like the fact they don't wear enough makeup. We don't like the fact that they want to work or want to become a mother. The fact that they are a teenage girl means that society automatically looks down upon them. And in a genre that is for, specifically, a young female audience, or at least mostly, you know, I know there are men who read YA, but for the most part, it's a feminine audience with feminine authors, plus the fact that it is lumped in with children's literature, basically infantilizes and devalues the entire genre. So I, as a young woman, saying I like a genre typically for young women, that's looked down upon because I am not also trying to distance myself from that, which is what a lot of people tend to do, right? Oh, I don't like One Direction, they're stupid, or oh, I hate this new leopard print trend, it's tacky. Because there's a whole thing of like trying to disassociate the thing that is, you know, most people are looking down on so that you yourself can be a part of the pack and you're not like left behind to starve or whatever caveman instinct is still left in our brains. And I'll say that for a while I felt really embarrassed when someone said, oh, you read YA? Because I still had that feeling of like, oh, I don't want to be the thing that everyone laughs at, which is a valid fear. But I just don't really care anymore. I like what I like. Obviously, the word nerds also like what they like. So if you like YA, whether you are 13 or you're 18 or you're 25 or you're 40, let's start standing up for ourselves, shall we? We already have so much of this like, oh, I'm not like other girls because like I don't like that. But you know what? We don't need more gender oppression from the same gender, okay? I'm done. I like YA, I love YA. It's my favorite genre and I will continue to read it, and you can't stop me. And to all those other readers out there who think that their opinion's the best and only their genre that they read is valid, you're not special for hating women, and you're absolutely not special for making fun of something that a lot of people happen to like. I'm gonna leave. Woo! Okay. That was a video. Please leave down below your own comments and thoughts on this because I'd love to hear from you, because I do have some friends that are younger than I am that read YA. I have friends that are older than me that read YA. I have friends of various ages that write it as well. What do you think of the aging up of YA? What are some of your favorite things about the genre? Please like and subscribe, and as always, we are going to be having our live chat at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time here on Sunday, and I believe we're doing a write-in this week because we are still in fact in July and it is Camp Nano. If any of you are participating and need some more words, come on Sunday. We'll have a big old word party. Happy writing to everybody, and I hope you have a good week. Bye!